What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on nootropics. So I want to talk about the top 6 nootropics to keep around, okay? What I really mean by this is never run out of these 6 nootropics if you're a heavy-hitting, hard-charging business person especially, or somebody that requires excellent productivity, but also if you're going on vacation or if you're going somewhere for 4 to 6 days, bring these 6 nootropics. In the meantime, if you'd like access to a powerful nootropic stack, courses that teach you how to use nootropics and get better results than you're getting now, or you'd like to work with me in any capacity, or me to work with you at any capacity, check out the following. Number 1, Cortex Nootropic Stack. Can't say enough good things about Cortex. I mean, look, if you just want to be able to take 2 capsules, turn on mental energy, motivation, the drive to work, verbal fluency, within 20-25 minutes, get Cortex. Do it at livecortex.com. One of the most popular, most powerful nootropic compounds on the market. Courses, look, there's 3 different courses that really teach you how to use nootropics at different echelons. The important element of the courses is if you're not implementing strategy into how you're using nootropics, your results will be subpar. They are the following. Number 1, if you're brand new to Nootropics Ground Zero, you have to start with that video course. I can save you 3 years of time, money, experimentation, and get you better results instantly with that course. Mid-level course is Nootropics Masterclass, and the Masterclass is really defined as being 6 years into using nootropics. People do things differently, people stack differently, people get better results at the 6-year mark. The highest level course there is the Nootropics God course. So if you want to just sort of be where I am, and most of the really, really high level nootropics / neurohacking experts are, get Nootropics God course. Okay, these are video courses and you can buy them at livecortex.com. Lastly, if you'd like to work with me, one of the most popular since we launched it and newest consulting programs that we have is Ryan on Call. Ryan on Call. It's a monthly fee, but you get me on call. You can ask me questions, you can have me help you formulate stacks, you can have me give you suggestions, and it really runs the gamut. And we're helping folks with testosterone, we're helping folks with, obviously, nootropics, with baseline energy, pretty much everything in between that is in the scope of my knowledge. Get Ryan on Call at livecortex.com. It is a cheaper way without doing a dedicated program to work with me. Okay. Top 6 nootropics to always keep around. So I'll give you a preface. This list has changed over the years for me. Now, I guess based on where my brain is, these are the top 6 chemicals that, over the course of the last many months, I have not run out of, and I don't want to run out of moving forward. I've gone on a couple trips since I've been here in Pittsburgh, and yeah, I mean, each time I've taken nootropics, and these were the 6 that I took. Recently, I was up at Lake Erie on the Pennsylvania side, and I took these 6 nootropics with me, and honestly, it was awesome because I had some work to do. It was on the lake on my laptop. So I'm going to break them down from start to finish. I'll explain why they're important and why you should keep these nootropics and kind of never run out of stock of them. Number 1, Uridine Monophosphate. Uridine Monophosphate. This is number 1, top 6 nootropics to always keep around. Uridine is a super nootropic. I mean, it's multifaceted in so many different ways. Not only are you stimulating dopamine receptor function, not only are you contributing to neurogenesis, the spawning of new neurons, but you're also forcing phospholipid synthesis, which is really important. Chemicals like phosphatidylcholine, it's considered a longevity chemical, right? The futurist Ray Kurzweil continuously takes phosphatidylcholine. It is, and in fact, I think it's in one of his top 3 supplements / nootropics to always take for longevity. Uridine's a super nootropic. I mean, in and of itself, it's very motivating. It's very energizing. It is sort of like comparable to a pharmaceutical stimulant if you can get the dose right for you, and especially if you're stacking it with other things like Citicoline and caffeine and Teacrine. It just gives you that motivated, energized feeling, but at the same time allows your brain to generally function better. The dose range is anywhere from 20 to 200 milligrams. I'm around 75 to 100 milligrams if I'm taking it in a stack with a bunch of other synergistic additional compounds. If I'm taking it just with Citicoline and artichoke extract and bacopa, which is the Cortex stack, then it's dosed at 150 milligrams because that just happens to hit very, very well. And honestly, it's awesome. If you get in a pinch where you just need good brain function, having 50 to 100 milligrams of uridine monophosphate that you can throw in a capsule is a really, really good strategy to have, to have consistent good brain performance. And I've been in those pinches where I just needed good brain performance. I didn't really have much else with me, or I wanted something really simple, and capsuling 50 to 100 milligrams of uridine does the trick every time. It's honestly a wonder compound, very, very powerful nootropic compound. And I never run out of uridine. Like, there's always cases in which I need it, or where I know taking it is gonna elevate my brain performance and help me do a variety of things related to business and productivity and work. So that's number one, uridine monophosphate. Number two is Citicoline, or CDP choline. Okay, Citicoline. This is my favorite choline source. We've talked about the alpha GPC versus CDP choline debate, and they're really doing different things. GPC is making you make more acetylcholine, so is CDP, but it's also stimulating dopamine receptors, right? It is also a major constituent of neurogenesis. It'll also elevate noradrenaline levels. So you get the alertness-based brain performance too, in addition, and the dopamine elevation, in addition to just creating more concentrations of acetylcholine. Also, something that really doesn't get discussed that much when people compare Citicoline and alpha GPC is that Citicoline has a profoundly longer half-life, and the absorbability is nearly absolute. It's like 99.7 or something to this effect, meaning like you get all of the Citicoline you take when you administer it, right? You're talking about getting a very, very raw, direct infusion of acetylcholine, and then again, some of the other things that it does in elevating the catecholamines. But it's also like, look, Citicoline stacks with a lot of things. Pretty much every dopaminergic there is, including bromontane, NAC, mucuna, uridine, right? Obviously stacks extremely well with uridine. That's the cornerstone of the power in the cortex stack, plus the artichoke extract. It's just a very useful chemical to keep around. And it also serves as your choline source, right? Like if you're going somewhere, or again, just in the interest of keeping certain nootropic compounds in the roster, in your home, like, in stock, you need a choline source for racetams, right? And so my go-to for many, many years, in fact, I stopped fussing with alpha GPC at large scale like 8 years ago, has been CDP cholines, okay? So that is number two nootropic that, look, I'll always keep in stock and I will always have around. And pretty much every trip I take and the next trip that I'm gonna take, I'll have Citicoline with me. Number three is Teacrine. Teacrine. I don't understand why Teacrine is so underrated, or why it doesn't get enough discussion or something in the nootropics community. It's very strange, because Teacrine is like caffeine on steroids, but cleaner and with a longer half-life, and that usually doesn't induce like overstimulation like caffeine does, that jittery sort of lack of focused feeling that caffeine tends to give you. It'd be hard pressed to find a situation in which, if you're dosing Teacrine intelligently, it does that, right? Hardcore adenosine receptor antagonists, it pretty much is caffeine, but what ultimately happens is, I think it's the kucha plant. I believe it's the kucha plant. So there's a plant called the kucha plant, and the plant at one point in its growth, if you cut the leaves off and try to synthesize them into pharmaceutical preparation or powder, it would be caffeine. But there's another step after that point where the caffeine in the kucha plant morphs into Teacrine, via a chemical modulation of the plant. And that's ultimately where Teacrine comes from. And by the way, for the confusion, people are always asking, like, well, what's the difference between Teacrine and Teacrine? There is no difference. It's just that Teacrine is the pharmaceutical preparation of Teacrine. It's really the nutraceutical preparation of Teacrine. Teacrine itself is what ends up growing on the kucha plant at its last step, okay? A dose range is anywhere from 50 to 250 milligrams. It's an exceptionally powerful wakefulness and focus inducing compound in and of itself. Ideally though, you should be stacking it with other things. You could stack it with uridine and CDP choline together. You could stack it with bromontane. You could stack it with your racetams to add an extra focus and energy element to the racetam stack. What I like about it the most is it's very easy. And it can be taken singularly. So like if I'm in a pinch or again on the run, or I've just, I don't know, I'm in need of extra brain performance in the evening time, and it's early enough where it won't fuss with my sleep. It's just easy to dose for me, 100 milligrams of Teacrine. And then I'm in and my brain is functioning awesomely. And it never fails to enliven my brain function when I need it. That's what's so powerful about Teacrine. I would never lose stock of it. I just love the stuff and always, think it's necessary to keep it around. So that's number 3, Teacrine. Number 4 is bromontane. Number 4 nootropics, top 6 nootropics to always keep around is bromontane. Look, keeping bromontane around is an important tool in the arsenal. For me, it's clean stimulation, 35 to 50 milligrams. It's almost somewhat like, again, I've never taken Adderall before and don't suggest using it, but how people describe that, I'm very familiar with how it's supposed to affect you and what the mechanisms of action are. And I've worked to get people off of it, etc. And it's comparable to that, but cleaner. Right? It's not as heavy, and it doesn't put you in a place where your mood can be like particularly crappy, like later on in the day or something, or where you have these weird ups and downs and you've got way too much dopaminergic stimulation. It's just an even keel of dopamine synthesis, assuming you've got enough precursor. Bromontane is awesome. Obviously, it can be taken by itself. Dose range, really 20 to 100 milligrams. I've seen people go up to 100 milligrams. I don't necessarily suggest that because it may disrupt your sleep, but some people can do that. And look, they get exceptional brain performance from it. But as far as utility goes, again, it's very useful to have around. Like, just throw down 50 milligrams of it. If you're on a trip and you've got capsules and Teacrine powder, in a scale, it's just really easy to capsule up, throw down, and have good brain performance as a result. So number 4 on my top 6 nootropics to always keep around is bromontane. Number 5 is phenylpiracetam. Now look, needs no intro. One of the most powerful, popular, reputable, highly effective nootropic compounds that there is on the roster of the stuff that we typically talk about. Dopamine reuptake inhibitor, cholinergic transmitter facilitator, very, very powerful compound. 30 to 250 milligrams is really what you're looking at on the dose range. Can be taken by itself. For me, usually 75 milligrams phenylpiracetam, 50 milligrams Citicoline, or alternatively, if I really need hardcore brain function, 150 milligrams phenylpiracetam, 75 milligrams Citicoline. I mean, it's like, in some cases, you just don't need to take anything else. I mean, you could add Teacrine, theanine, right? Some extra stimulation and balance, but bromontane Citicoline alone, or correction, phenylpiracetam Citicoline alone, very, very powerful combination. Phenylpiracetam is something for me based on the work that I'm doing now, which is, again, heavy work with clients, formulating people's stacks. Ryan on Call has blown up since I launched it. I mean, a lot of clients and a lot of questions, a lot of stuff going on. I'm writing books, I'm writing new nootropics books. Having phenylpiracetam is like an extremely surgical weapon. It is the ninja in the arsenal. So phenylpiracetam is my number 5 in top 6 nootropics to always keep around. Just never run out of stock of these 6 nootropics. Number 6 is modafinil, okay? Number 6 is modafinil. These days I probably take modafinil 3-4 times a month. It is reserved for days where the objective is to get a whole lot done over a 10 to 16 hour waking period for me. And yeah, I don't know, tried and true for many years. I have used modafinil on and off for, I want to say about 10 years on and off. I took it more regularly, and we're talking about 2 times a week regularly back in the days. And then again, when I got into switching between systems and hitting different neurotransmitter systems with nootropics, it really went down to like once a week. And that's pretty much where it is right now. And there'll be weeks where I skip it completely. But again, reserved for days when I need exceptional brain performance and I need a lot of cognitive endurance, like, you know what I mean, where you would typically like want to stop working. Modafinil makes it possible to just have the brain to keep working. And that's a very useful tool in the arsenal for us entrepreneurs, for all of us as nootropics enthusiasts, for all of us as productivity-focused, productivity-centered individuals, and the like. Keeps you awake, keeps your brain energized, releases some dopamine, and puts you in a really good place to focus. And then again, in terms of ease of use, it's like, wow, how easy is, cutting a 200 milligram tablet of modafinil in half and just taking it, right? Having it with you when you go on a trip, having it in stock as a fail-safe to fall back on when you absolutely need it. On some days when perhaps you're a little lazy and don't want to formulate a stack for yourself, hopefully you have a bunch of stacks formulated if you've listened to me long enough. But in the case where you're just in a pinch and you need good brain performance, modafinil is pretty reliable for that, okay? So those are my top 6 nootropics to always have around. Like in my tub of nootropics, it's basically like a giant Tupperware of nootropics, and then a fan blows into it, and there's like a hole where the cord goes in, and it just sits. There's always uridine, there's always Citicoline, there's always Teacrine, there's always bromotain, there's always Phenylpiracetam, and there's always modafinil, right? Not that those are the compounds that I rely on, because there are days where I'm taking all kinds of stuff. Yesterday I took Mucuna, I took some ALA, some vinpocetine, and NAC, and that was the basis of my stack yesterday, right? I switch between systems all of the time. Today was the Cortex stack because I'm doing a video. Verbal fluency, perfectly on cue. 25 minutes later, a lot of mental energy. But these are the compounds I would never run out of, right? That I just make sure are always in the mix, because I just sort of think about it from the perspective of ease of use, as well as if you're in a pinch, if you have these 6 compounds, you can make it. I'll say one last thing, because I know a lot of you are like, well, should I just get these 6 compounds and then rely solely on them? The answer is definitely not, but you could get away with it. I don't suggest it, because you should be cycling, right? And you're also missing out on racetams if you've got all these compounds, the rest of the racetams, which, do different things. Fasciracetam, coliracetam, pramiracetam, regular piracetam, different than phenylpiracetam. But having these 6 compounds around, you could get away with taking them and having good brain performance pretty consistently if you're careful enough, all right? Uridine, Citicoline, Teacrine, bromotain, phenylpiracetam, modafinil. Dare I say my favorite 6 compounds? Maybe. Definitely the ones that I always keep around and make sure that I never run out of stock. And hopefully you do the same. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Remember, if you want access to a powerful nootropic stack, courses that teach you how to use nootropics in a way which get you much better results. Like, I can get you better results than you're getting without consulting you necessarily. Just get some of the courses. Ground Zero, if you're new to nootropics, okay? Very, very powerful course. If you're brand new and you're just starting out, it's where you have to start. Imagine having a baseline going into nootropics that will save you the next 3 years of having to do the research and experimentation. Get Ground Zero. Mid-level course, which is the next level up, takes you to the 6-year mark in using nootropics, defined by getting better results and certain principles being implemented into your stacks. Nootropics Masterclass. Very powerful video course. And they're all very stack-ridden, by the way. All these courses have stacks we've never talked about here that you'll get good results from. Lastly, Nootropics God course. That is the highest level course, man. So, if you're even 2 years in, if you're 3 years in, you could even be 6 months in, but have a baseline understanding of nootropics, but you want to shoot all the way up to the 10 to 15 year echelon. This is where people like me are and how we use nootropics. It's how we implement strategies with clients that pay us a lot of money to formulate their stacks. Get the Nootropics God course at livecortex.com. Lastly, again, very popular since we launched it, Ryan on Call. If you need me to answer questions regarding nootropics, regarding test, to give you suggestions on stacks, on reworking your entire regimen, and kind of other things in between. Folks hit me up with all kinds of random questions that are related to performance physiology. And if it's within my scope, I will help you answer them. And so far, everything has been. Get Ryan on Call, livecortex.com. You pay a monthly fee, and you've just got me on call for everything. I can help you formulate regimens. I can give you suggestions on everything related to nootropics. I can tell you what in your stack you should be removing, how to reorganize your stacks, hosts of other things. Cheaper way to get my help than going for a dedicated program. Now, we also have dedicated programs, again, 4 months and 6-month programs. Those are, we formulate the stacks for you. We document them, we track them, we adjust them. We do everything, and you just take the stuff and get good brain performance and energy. Do all that stuff at livecortex.com. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Talk to you next time. So listen, wanted to introduce to you a new consulting option for those of you. Now, typically we get the call from business people that want dedicated regimen formulation, right? You know, these larger consults that we do are dedicated regimen formulation, where we formulate regimens, nootropic regimens, energy regimens, test regimens. We track them on online documents. We adjust them for you, and we're always there at your beck and call to adjust along the way. And if other things spring up related to physiology and optimizing physiology, that's what my job is in those consults. But not everyone wants a 4-month or a 6-month dedicated consulting, regimen formulation option. Some people just need to call or send an audio back and forth or send some messages back and forth and get my advice on nootropic stack suggestions, get my advice on targeted energy optimization, get my advice on targeted testosterone suggestions, get my advice on, they've got 6 stacks that are hitting well, but 4 stacks that are not. What needs to change in those stacks, right? A dissecting of some of your nootropic stacks and a reformulation of those, suggestions on how to change them. So what I decided to do was create that, okay? It's called Ryan On Call. It is a monthly fee where you get me on call for all of those things. You can hit me up one day and say, hey, I need a stack for this upcoming real estate event I've got to go to, or this upcoming exam that I've got to take, or this upcoming thing where I need particular brain performance. Or you can hit me up and say, hey, here's my stacks, lay them out for me. This stack's hitting well, but these 5 here are not. Do you have any idea why, and how would you situate these stacks? To which I'd respond, and I'd give you a situation where I'd resituate your stacks for you. Now, the downside of having me on call and doing a consult like this, of course, compared to the bigger consults, is there is no data tracking, there's no stack tracking. You'll have to track your own stacks and do your own sort of data management of all of your stacks. There's no online document generation. You're basically responsible for everything. What this is you having access to me, a nootropics consultant and expert on nootropics, at your beck and call, whenever you need. So if you need to have a quick conversation about something, if you need a question answered, if you need direction on which compounds to bring into the mix to target which recovery protocol, and pretty much everything else in between related to optimizing physiology using nootropics and nutraceuticals and research chemicals, you have me at your beck and call, okay? So go check it out at livecortex.com on the consulting tab. Look at the options. Basically, just kind of check out the features and see if this is a fit for you. Because I can tell you, I, as a business person, I've got consultants on call all the time, whether it's attorneys or like business consultants, marketing consultants. I have people on call all the time, and just paying them a monthly fee and honestly being able to pick my phone up, open up an application and say, hey, Joe, I have a question about this or that, and get the answer sometimes within minutes is like invaluable. It's an invaluable service to me, right? And so having that as it relates to your performance, I think would be an invaluable service for you as well. So go to livecortex.com, go to the consulting tab and book. If you want me on call and you want questions answered and you want me to help you with some of your nootropic stacks and energy, etc., but you don't want to do a dedicated consult, Ryan On Call is perfect for you. Go book me, livecortex.com, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.